Hey everybody, it's Pastor John here for this week's Wisdom Wednesday. One of my old videos I titled, I'm an Idiot. It's true, occasionally I can act like an idiot. In fact, I would love for you to go back and watch that video if you haven't, or watch any of the Wisdom Wednesdays we put out previously. But today I want to do I'm an Idiot Part 2, because I did something idiotic again. And just like the first time, this one centers around my relationship with my wonderful wife, Kim. Sometimes my wife has a hard time sleeping. And it's partly mental, like she'll wake up and she'll be, she can't go right back to sleep because she starts thinking about whatever's stressing her out or whatever issue that she's facing. And for me, typically if I wake up, I'm able to go back to sleep. But once she's up, it can be a really frustrating process for her. And sometimes she'll have seasons where she sleeps really good, and sometimes she'll get in a season where she's just not resting quite well. And that kind of makes for a miserable wife because she gets irritated when she wakes up, something goes wrong, or she just really wants a good night's sleep. Well, not too long ago, she was kind of in one of those seasons where she wasn't getting a lot of sleep, and she was waking up in the night and having a hard time going back to sleep. Well, one night it was my fault. Typically, I don't do this, but I snored. I'm usually a side sleeper and usually don't have a problem with that. Occasionally, if I'm on my back, I'll snore, and this night I did, and it woke her up. And I knew it woke her up because she woke me up. Now, how she woke me up was very irritating because I kind of could hear it and sense that something happened, but I definitely knew when I when I felt a pillow slam against my face. She took her heavy memory foam pillow and busted me upside my head. Now, that woke me up, and I was quite irritated. So I said, "Why'd you do that?" And she said, "What?" I said, "Why did you do that?" She said, "I was just trying to sleep." I was like, at that moment, I didn't know what to do, what to say. I was just so irritated that she took her pillow and intentionally hit me upside my face. That was so frustrating to me because I accidentally woke her up, had no control over it. It was just this honest, like, I wish I didn't, but I did. But yet she didn't wish she didn't. She purposefully whacked me upside the head. And it woke me up. And so in that moment, I'm just mad and I'm just frustrated. Now I can't sleep. And I'm just thinking, why in the world did she do that? Well, eventually I fell back asleep and woke up the next morning. But that, of course, was the first thing on my mind. Why did my wife do that? Why did she do that? And so as we both got ready for the day, I was very quiet and processing like she needs to apologize. And so I'm just waiting for her to initiate a conversation and say, "Hey, babe, I'm sorry for doing that. I lost my cool. That was on me." And I would have at that point said, "Okay, I get it. You haven't been sleeping, but thank you for the apology." But that was evil. But it never came. She never brought it up. So we go off about on our day, and we're doing our jobs, and she's working and I'm working, and there's some texting communication, and I'm just being very cold to all of her texts. Just one-word responses. I'm really having a hard time letting this go throughout the day. All I can think about is what a punk move that she did to hit me upside my face. And so I was just really upset all day. We even get back and we're not able to talk. The kids are around, but I'm just super cool with all of my responses and answers to her and my demeanor to her. And I know she's kind of sensing something's wrong, but I'm just waiting. Okay, hey, I'm sorry. I can't believe I did this. I'm sorry. But she's not bringing it up. Eventually, into the early evening, we finally get some time where I said, "Hey, are you going to talk about last night?" She said, What's going on? You seem upset. What are you upset about?" "I'm upset because you took that pillow and whacked me." She said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "You took your pillow last night and flung it and hit me right across my face." She said, "John, I promise, I have no idea. I did not know that I did that." And so we began to go through the situation. I said, "You said what?" And when I said, "Why did you do that?" She said, "I thought you were talking about why am I turning over?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, I cannot believe this." She had no idea that she had done that. And yet all day was ruined for me because all I could think about how mean she was, what a punk she was, and how could she do that to me, and yet she hadn't apologized. It makes me think of the great love chapter. This chapter is used in a lot of weddings, but in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, Paul is talking about love. And he says some interesting things about love. He says, love is not irritable and keeps no record of being wronged. And then in verse 7 of chapter 13, he says, love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. My love was not very hopeful. It was a very pessimistic view of love. I was quite irritated at her and assumed the worst, that she intentionally did that she was spiteful to me, when yet that was not the case at all. And I was definitely keeping a record of wrongs. This one was going to the top of the list in that book. And Paul says, that's not how you love. As a follower of Christ, the wisdom that we have for us today is to love well, to love with forgiveness, to love with grace, to love with mercy, to be a person who loves, who doesn't keep a record book of wrongs, to bring it back up into someone's face and say, look what you did to me. And to have a hopeful love, that you're loving a person, that love is for good, and for your good, and for their good, and for God's good, and is hopeful to accomplish great things. Not pessimistic, but with a great spirit of positivity. And so I want to encourage you on this Wisdom Wednesday to love well, to love your spouse if you're married well, to love your kids well, to love your neighbor well, even to love yourself well. Don't keep that irritable type of love. That's not love. Don't keep a record book of wrongs, because that's not love. And don't be pessimistic with your love. Be hopeful in your love. Don't be an idiot like me. I hope you enjoyed this Wisdom Wednesday. Go back and watch the rest. Would love for you to do that, and we'll be posting again. Have a great day.